Who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Talking about practice, not a game. We talking about practice.
Are growing out, and the only way the roots grow out every single day, and they grow stronger and they grow better, is if that we all water.
What? I'm out, man.
What's up? Hello. What's so funny?
I watching House of Highlights just put out a video where the dude snuck into a girl's AAU tournament. He's like ducking on all these girls and stuff. Oh gosh! All right.
You got the giggles tonight.
No, man, this was funny, bro. He snuck into a legit girls AAU tournament and got off. Like he was dunking and everything.
He hit him with the Joanna Man.
Oh, I forgot about that movie. That's classic.
That movie is a great movie.
Classic movie. And he falls in love with the girl. Like it's wild.
That's true. All right, Switch Monday. We're live here on Chip and Drip here on the AAT Sports Network, AAT Birds. I am Chip at Chip for the Birds and Umpire Stories, joined by JD at Kegheads_TM. You still D2N? It says on D2N there. You got to cut that out.
Nah, I'm still D2N.
Well, all right. Well, then don't cut it out.
No, it's D2N Podcast LLC.
Yeah.
Underscore. It's still that, but the K-Kids are taking up. Dude, K-Kids in South Carolina is like it's everywhere. Like people have been awesome. Bumping into me talking about K-Kids. It's like it's just really caught on.
That's really
especially because I don't actually drink. So it's like okay.
We want to know why. It's because it's a school night. Adam wants to know how. First off, what's going on, Adam? Adam wants to know how's school going for both of you. So, JD, how's school going for you?
We're in week three, and it's it's school now. Like it's kind of like I wake up every morning around 6 a.m. Start my day. Take a shower, get everything out, and then on top of all that, once I get to school, then there's like the last couple of days. There's been like some issues of violence. Or some guys have been popping off on social media, and now it's caused some real life issues. And I tell people this all the time: the things you say on social media can get you beat up in real life. Yeah, we're actually that's physically a thing now. So, yeah,
that's a life lesson. Again, that's a life lesson. The things you put in writing on social media can get you beat up in real life. Don't be a keyboard warrior now.
I had the Keyboard Warriors prevention team. We still got that.
I know you did.
So we still got that.
Javier checking in. Yes, he saw the documentary. Yes, we were not messing around. It is quite the documentary.
Yeah.
Highly, highly recommended. So there's that. We got a lot to talk about tonight. I'm going to be honest, JD. I'm in a type of way tonight because
I know you told me that.
The episode of the show is why can't people just behave? Like I'm in a type of way because there's some stuff that's come out about some of these NFL guys, and I'm over it. I'm over these people being paid millions and millions and millions and millions when, you and I work hard as hell and try to do the right thing and try to pass on the life lessons. And these guys are absolute scumbags.
Heaves out, sleeves out. So in case you didn't know, we're sleeves out tonight. He has no sleeves. I have no sleeves. We did not talk about this before we came on here.
I walked off a baseball field, and this is what I wore.
I just got out of the shower, smelling all fresh and clean, and just didn't want to wear sleeves. I've been working on my lot of arms, a lot of dips lately. You've been getting in.
Yeah, I'm like squishing my you're like filling out your window. I'm over here like.
I'm a big boy, man. I'm a big boy. Anymore.
So, all right, I put the wheel together. There are a couple shenanigans later on if we can get to them. But our topics tonight include a couple of things. So first off, we're going to talk about bad NFL behavior. We're going to talk about the minor leagues baseball system. I have a gripe there. We're going to do our college football predictions. Basically, I'm going to ask JD a bunch of questions about college football. We're going to talk about Wes Welker. We're going to talk about the Eagles roster, the Steelers roster, because final cuts come tomorrow. We're going to talk about some of the NFL moves that have happened just over the last week or so. And then we'll shenan it.
It's all about shenanan. Like shenanan.
It is all about the shenaners. So, shall we spin?
Let's do it, brother.
We shall spin. Watch me. I'm going to have to get fired up right away. No. Okay. You're starting this thing off. I like it. So, JD, it is officially week 0. College football is starting.
It was week 0. It's week 1 now.
That's what I'm saying. It was week 0. We're getting ready. We're getting ready to start off the college football. So, give me a rundown. We got the top couple of teams. Obviously, Alabama's.
Yeah.
You know a lot about college football. So tell me what you're expecting out of the season. Who's the surprise team? You saw quite the prediction that I think Texas Tech is apparently going to be a top 4 BCS team from Desmond Howard.
Well, there's no BCS, so
whatever it is, the playoff team.
I don't believe Texas Tech is going to do shit.
All right, so tell me some things. College football, go.
So the top 4 that is already the top 4 is going to probably be the top 4 when it all is said and done. Just being real, just because of like the way the college football layout is laid out, like it's Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and Clemson. That's how it's supposed to be. Like it's not going to be anything different because those are the premier programs in the nation right now. Unfortunately, we live in a world right now where these guys recruit the best. They have the best tactics, and no matter what people say about no matter what people say about Nick Saban's still the top-notch guy. Like he's still the top dog until otherwise told. Like, I mean, yeah, Georgia got one, just like Clemson's got 2 in the last 10 years, but they've pretty much ran the last decade. And even though Ohio State's gotten there a couple of times, but they've fallen short last year with getting knocked off by Michigan. So you just kind of got some room for error there. I will say this, what I've noticed with week 0, we watched the franchise that thought they had something coming back, or we watched a program thought they were coming back with Nebraska get absolutely like shocked in Dublin. And I think that's kind of partly because of Scott Frost, and everybody kind of they've just christened him as being this great coach, and because of what he did at Florida, or I think it was at UCF, or maybe UCF or US, whatever. He was somewhere, and they thought that Scott Frost was the guy. And he's done nothing but lead this team straight down to nothing. So that's the situation. You can expect out of Ohio State that's because we don't stay in the Big Ten. You can also expect Ohio State to be very, very good this year. I mean, like national championship good.
Well, they have a quarterback already.
Yeah.
Who was putting things together, putting things on tape that made him a pretty high caliber player.
Yeah, but you got, then you got Bryce Young in Alabama. Clemson apparently says that DJ's back, and I'm just gonna be honest. I don't believe that. I think that the guy's Kate Klubnik, the freshman that just came in. Until I see otherwise, that's what I'm going with. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That's what I think about Clemson. I think Clemson's got a couple days to figure it out before they need to make the decision to pull the plug off DJ. But DJ doesn't have any room for error. And then of course Georgia coming off a national championship. They're looking to, resurge, come back, recharge. It's going to be hard to replace Jordan Davis and the Kobe Dean and those other guys that was on that defensive front. So I'm not looking to say that Georgia's going to fall off completely off the map, but it's going to be hard to replicate what they did last year. So that's my applications for this season. Will another team possibly sleep in there? Yeah, they could, but it's going to take a lot to get in there.
So going back for a second to this week 0 stuff, and I'm looking at some of these games. So for the most part, everything that happened was supposed to happen, right? North Carolina won, Nevada won,
Florida State, yep.
Florida State won. So is this kind of like what the preseason almost is for the NFL, where they get matched up against these teams that are not that good?
Well, okay, so last year there was some games that happened in week 0, which was Georgia played Clemson. And Georgia played Clemson basically like week 1, week 0.5 or 0.5, where they played a kickoff game, and that game was 7-3 or something.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, so you have issues where things like that are going to happen, where you're going to have games that these guys struggle because they're playing so early in the season. But that implication was that Georgia was really good because they held Clemson to 3 points.
Right.
So there's going to be some games that'll be like that. But like for the most part, you don't like the bigger teams pay the lower teams to come and smack them around a little bit, because historically it has showed us that if you play a good team early on and get beat, it can pretty much stifle your season, unless you are Alabama. Because if Alabama loses early in the season, nobody remembers by the end because they didn't kick everybody else's teeth in. So
right, there's always time for them to make up that loss.
Right. So that is why it is what it is. That's why there's not. People will say that, you know, the college is the one reason why you don't need like the NFL doesn't need a preseason. But in theory, I think that it would help college to have maybe a tune-up game or two. And it's not to say, because you don't want to say, okay, like let's not say like Clemson. Let's say we'll just use Clemson because I said my wheelhouse. So let's say Clemson goes out and they absolutely punish whoever they play, right? And it lets them work the kinks out. Then game 3, you get Clemson versus Ohio State. Then you get to see two really like, you know, seasoned teams ready to play, gotten all the kinks out, and you get to see a really good game. And that's more of what you're going to see in week 8 or 9 when these guys play or in the playoff. You get like an implication, because the first game isn't an implication of what these teams are going to be. They're going to be a bunch of changes between then and now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. So big game this weekend is Ohio State versus Notre Dame, 2 versus 5.
Yeah.
I am expecting Notre Dame to get the crap kicked out of them. Because Notre Dame, when they play ranked teams, typically doesn't do well. Now, the flip side of that is Notre Dame in August and September, and pretty much all the way up until their bowl game when they're undefeated, is a pretty good team. So, is this year that Notre Dame goes back to the top?
I would say, okay, so this is a trick game for Notre Dame. I mean, not Notre Dame, for Ohio State. Yeah. Because if Ohio State is not ready and hasn't worked out the kinks, like I said before, this could be dangerous for them. Because all we really need, because we've already saw in the past that all Notre Dame really needs is a one marquee win, and they pretty much get in. If Notre Dame beats Ohio State for the rest of the season until they play Clemson, they're going to literally be talked about like they're the God's gift to earth. If they are able to knock off Ohio State. Now, if Ohio State wins, it'll be what we all expected. You'll see Notre Dame fall. You know, they'll do their little thing. They'll continue to fall until they play Clemson. And, you know, Clemson will probably hopefully kick their teeth in like normal, and we'll just move on with like life is general. But if Notre Dame somehow is able to piece together, because they're playing them very early, and that's my only fear for Ohio State fans. If Ohio State fans are not really, or the players aren't ready for a week 1 letdown, which could possibly happen, then you are sadly mistaken. So that is the game everybody's going to be watching all around the country this week, is to see how Ohio State looks coming out against Notre Dame. Is that game in a shoe, or is it a neutral site?
It is. Hold on. It's
what's the spread?
It's in Ohio.
Okay.
It's in Columbus, Ohio.
What's the spread?
I don't know. I'm on ESPN right now, so I was looking at the schedule.
Okay, so they should be. I'll say they're probably like 7-point favorites, maybe. Maybe a touchdown favorite just because they're playing at home.
Right.
But don't. This is a pick 'em, really, in all honesty, because Notre Dame's known for going places and playing, so they're used to traveling. Notre Dame's fans will travel with them, so that's another thing that will happen. So it'll probably end up being like 50-50 as far as fans. They love these big games early on in the season, just kind of like Michigan. They love big games early on in the season. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's like very, very close in the way that they present as far as fans go. So that's all I got for that.
Final question about college football, and it goes to the most important award, the Heisman Trophy. We know Bryce Young wins it last year. We know that according to all predictions, it's Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, 1 and 2 here.
Right.
Does CJ Stroud win it? Does Bryce Young become the first guy in a while to win a second one? And is there a dark horse that we don't know about?
So a lot of people will say I'm saying this out of pure just like fandom, but I'm not saying it out of fandom. I'm saying it out of reality. If Clemson has a bounce back year with DJ, he's going to have a really good story because a lot of people were calling for his head last year and they wanted him out the program. So if he's able to put together a great season, they stay undefeated, which is really easy. I think the real only test we got this year is maybe Wake and possibly Notre Dame, depending on how they look. So that would be the only 2 tests. So if we can go undefeated and we play very dominant with DJ in the backfield at the helm, then technically he could be in the thing, or whoever Notre Dame's quarterback is, if they can go ahead and knock off Ohio State. That would be that would be your automatic first off front runner. Whoever wins that Notre Dame, Ohio State, that's going to be the first Heisman moment that team will have had.
Right.
CJ Stroud's got a lot of games to like really make a case though, because they play in the Big Ten. He's gonna play against Penn State, so that's always gonna be.
He's gonna play in all types of weather. Like you can't say the same thing for
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young plays at Alabama. They don't really travel. They don't have to.
Well, they travel. It's just they don't play in like, and he'll play in some place. They'll play in Texas A&M again or wherever. They'll play that game. They'll play the Alabama Iron Bowl, which is always a good game. So he'll have that opportunity. But I think CJ Stroud will have more Heisman type moments just because they're starting out with Notre Dame. He will be able to put his imprint on the game very, very early. So with Bryce Young, he'll have to go out and just dominate straight off the top. Like, I'm talking like 6-7 touchdowns a game or something.
Right.
Just to be very dominant because of just the amount of competition that CJ Stroud is going to see from the week in to week out basis.
All right. Cool. That's college football.
Yep, that was it.
That's all in a nutshell. We'll just keep checking it. I mean, that's kind of one of your go-tos, so we'll keep it going.
I like that.
All right.
This is your go-to.
This is my go-to. So I'm not going to spend very long on this because I don't really have much of an argument here. I find myself very annoyed with the Philadelphia Phillies organization. I'm going to tell you why. Okay. So I really enjoy the minor league system that they have. We went to the Reading Phillies again this past weekend. It was a great experience where there was like 8,000 people there. We saw the top Phillies prospect. It was awesome. Or one of the top Phillies pitching prospects. He looked great.
Okay.
Bryce Harper had been out for like 2 months. Okay. Huge chunk of the season. And he had a broken hand. He had already had the shoulder problem, so he wasn't playing the outfield. He was just doing the DH thing when he got hurt. Breaks his hand. He's ready to come back. And the Philadelphia Phillies organization decides, you know what we're going to do? We're going to send him down to the minors for a week. We're going to send him down. He's going to be there Tuesday. He's going to be there Tuesday through Saturday. He'll take Sunday off. He'll rejoin the team Monday. Cool. The amount of people that went out of their way to buy Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs tickets was absurd. It crashed the website, right? Very clear game plan. This is what's going to happen. He goes down there. His first at bat's a home run. He hits the walk-off double. He does the thing. Plays the second game. He does a great job. He looked ready. But the problem is that the Philadelphia Phillies organization said, here is the timeline. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. And they call him up, and he plays, which was very exciting for the big league ball club. But what happens to those people in the Lehigh Valley that went out of their way to buy tickets?
Nothing.
Does the Philadelphia Phillies organization, who was struggling around 19,000 fans, during the whole time that Bryce Harper was there, say, hey, bring your Lehigh Valley ticket and we'll exchange it for a general admission ticket?
No, because think about it. You're getting that Lehigh Valley ticket at a Lehigh Valley price opposed to paying the Phillies
do a general
price.
admission price. Respect and honor.
I don't know if you
because all of a sudden now you're averaging 30,000 fans this past weekend.
So, okay, Chip. So let me just throw this out there for just for numbers purposes. If you were thinking that you were going to get a steal and go to this minor league game and get to see a major league player, cool. But that's what you do. It's like when you go Black Friday shopping. Like you can go early to try to get it, but if the guy in front of you takes the last one, they don't say, "Hey, you get your 4 hours back."
And I get all that. Like I get all that, and I get the logic of
tough shit.
The purpose of the minor league system is to make sure that they're ready for the major league level, which is true in player development. But why give a timeline then?
Because I think at the end of the day, the timeline is for people so people can stay calm. So they can know, hey, there is a timeline on this thing. He's not staying out here forever. We believe he's going to be ready by Sunday, but he played 3 good games, and they said, okay, well, he's ready to go now. Those extra games, you know what I'm saying? If he gets those extra games, you paid for those extra tickets. It was a chance he could have had a chance. He could have got hurt. Like I've seen people go,
and that's my other piece of it. So if you're just going to bat, right? If you're just batting, which is what he's doing, you can simulate that. You can simulate that in a bullpen session. You have guys throwing you pitches, and then you break out of the box. Like you don't have to play. I actually thought as he was getting ready that they were going to skip the minor league rehab assignment altogether because you're not going to put your multi-million-dollar guy in these rookie AAA ballparks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he didn't need to play those games, but then they give a timeline. And I have an issue with them then yanking it away from the fans because once again, it's another dig on the fans. And one of the guys that I coach my son's team with, he had tickets for the Thursday or Friday night game. Okay. And he goes, cool. The ticket lady said to him, you just missed him. He drove by you on the Northeast Extension probably, but don't worry. I have a good, alternate. You get to see Brandon Marsh play. The two are not the same.
Okay, so put this one up by Johnny. Johnny's making a good point. I normally don't agree.
Yeah, that's exact, Johnny. This is exactly the point here.
I normally don't agree with Johnny, but I'm going to be honest. So what happens is I thought to myself, okay, that's why Kobe always played hurt. Like Kobe played hurt. He played, because somebody was going to be using their last dollars, or maybe, or let's say you live in the Lehigh Valley. Maybe that was your only opportunity to get to see Bryce Harper because maybe the trek into the city was just too much for your parents, or maybe I don't know, just don't know. You don't know what their person's situation is. So it gives people an opportunity to see a major league talent of like a once in a lifetime generation talent on like a minor league scale where he's going to show out because he's playing against minor league guys. So we kind of already got that. I agree with what Johnny's saying. I agree with you as well. The only problem to that is that he's a national treasure. So you can't have him possibly taking a ball to the knee off some guy, minor league guy trying to walk him, don't want him to hit a home run, don't want to get his shine on against them, or some guy trying to prove himself and go out there and hurt him. That's what you can't have. You see he's ready to go. Let's get him up there with comparable talent, DH him again until he's ready. But you get him in there with comparable talent. Like guys not taking shots at him, guys that are on the same level.
And I get that. And I look at Don's point here. He had to stay in AAA for a specific amount of time based on when he was placed on the DL. But he could have just been reinsert. Like, okay, we're reactivating him. He didn't even need to take a stint down there. He did not need those at bats. He did not need. You could simulate those times, and he had to stay in AAA for a specific amount of time. 2 games ain't it.
Yeah,
that was a exercise in look what we have, look what we can do. And they called him up. And again, I'm excited that he's back. I'm excited that he's produced. I'm excited that the team is being successful. But again, it's just another slight on the fans, just like when you pull, and again, specifically the Lehigh area, the Lehigh Valley area, when you pull a couple of years ago training camp for the Philadelphia Eagles out of Lehigh. It's constantly happening, especially with that area, and an area that is fiercely loyal, an area that is also like when we did the sports and social area for the show with Hollis Thomas.
Yeah.
What you couldn't see behind the big curtain is it's as big of an Eagles bar as it is a Giants bar. because they're so close to New York. This is how things happen.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just saying that you have to get, again, I understand the letting players develop thing, and I understand I have no case here at all. I got no leg to stand on. It just didn't sit right with me that you went, here's our timeline. Here's our timeline. Make sure you buy your tickets. It's going to sell out. Okay, he's gone in 2 days.
Well, okay, but there's another part to that. And you're speaking, we're fans first. Like, let's just be real.
Right.
Like, our playing days are way past us. Trust me, I found out this weekend my playing days are way past me. But like you as a fan,
I can still hold a little bit.
Right.
I apparently took an 83 mile an hour fastball in the elbow yesterday, just umpiring, and I was able to throw today, so we're good.
You're a man. That's what happens when you're a grown man. So I get to a point where sometimes I kind of like question, I kind of question the validity of these people sometimes, because I'm like, okay, we out here taking money from anybody, but like Johnny said, that kid that.
This is it. This is the point right here.
Okay. So Johnny, I agree with you. But think about the outrage that's going to happen as soon as they make this. It's going to be negative press everywhere. Like, we're having a conversation about it now, but think about how many people that really didn't even know that happened. You know what I'm saying? They go out and make the announcement. Now you bring that to the attention of everybody in Philly sports fans, not just the people in Lehigh Valley. Like, some people might not even remember it. If you didn't go get tickets, you might not even know when he was, getting done with, minor leagues. Like, you just, because honestly, the people in Philly bought tickets for when he's supposed to be back, like next week. So
I had tickets in my inbox. Like, I was going to purchase tickets to go down to the Lehigh Valley. We ended up going to the Reading Phillies instead this weekend, just because they were doing like a Stranger Things night, and that was great and all. But had I bought tickets, I would have been furious.
You would have been, but think about what happens if you would have watched Bryce Harper get hurt. You would have been 10 times mad.
I know, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Like I said, and like Johnny said, it's the announcement. If they had just been like, he's going to be down here until he's ready, cool.
Then you just risk it if you just get the tickets. You know what I'm saying? Then you just take.
Correct.
It's like Russian roulette. Okay.
But they literally gave a timeline. He's going to be here from Tuesday to Saturday. He's going to take a rest day Sunday, and he's going to rejoin the team Monday. It was very clear what they were going to do.
Fair enough.
That's where my frustration is. Back to the wheel. I'm telling you, I'm in the mood tonight.
I'll see that.
Yeah, I was about to say, keep going. I'm not ready for bad behavior yet. All right. The Wes Welker situation. Are you up to date on this? Are you caught up on this one?
No, but I'm looking it up. He said he wasn't good,
right.
So he got caught by the Dolphins.
So Wes Welker he's been retired. He's retired, and he put out his response letter from the NFL for basically, I have had a series of injuries. I need money for the rest of my days because I gave my body up, and they denied him. And he posted the letter, and he went, and I was denied because the doctor, I need medical notes from my doctors. The doctor stuff isn't sufficient.
Okay.
I have mixed feelings about this.
I don't. It's very simple.
Go.
Very simple. Okay, as you know, everybody knows Sarah's a HR professional. And we actually had this conversation. So, like, I was in the military, and I'm a disabled vet. And every time I went into the VA clinic, I had to have my records. If I didn't have my records, I couldn't get my disability. So my thing is this stuff written down? What type of documents do you actually need? Those are those things as a grown-ass individual you need. Like, as a grown man, you need we might say, okay, you got a sprained MCL, because I think the list is 2008 groin sprain, 2009 knee sprain, 2010 ACL tear, 2013 ankle sprain, 2014 lower back sprain. Okay, cool. How much money did Wes Welker make during his career?
Millions.
So let's just do this for a second.
We can't see that.
Anyways, but let's just humor me. Let's say Wes Welker was a regular worker, like a teacher or in the military. The amount of care that I will never make the amount of money that these men have made playing a child's game. Never. Probably never. he needs to get a lawyer, which he would have had to do anyway. And he would need to provide what they're asking to provide. Because what is it to go get an extra doctor's opinion unless you really don't think a doctor's gonna see it? I don't know.
I mean,
to me, it sounds like
just the hit from, I think it was Ryan Clark alone puts him on disability for the rest of his life.
Right. But what happens?
Yeah. So basically, the letters there is I can't pull it up. It's too small. It's the NFL Player Benefits Disability Plan. So it's the disability claims reviewed for line of duty disability benefits and your entire file. Basically, you're unable to rate your various surgeries due to a lack of supporting documentation within your medical records. So he may have gotten these surgeries, but it's not in the file that he turned in. Specifically, there's no records reflecting the surgeries were performed by a result of injuries sustained while playing in the NFL.
Because we see these guys get hurt all the time doing crap they ain't got no business.
Right.
Like we watched Jason Williams, his whole career didn't even go down because he bought a bike. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So how many of these injuries were Wes Welker, getting hurt? I mean, I understand he doesn't have a head trauma from that injury. Now, if he said I have head trauma from getting hit by Ryan Clark, okay, we can see that. That's clearly on the tape. But sprained groin, I got a sprained groin from walking to my damn mailbox the other day. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I think for me, that's where it's like, okay, you got your millions and millions. As I understand that they're trying to do right by the retired NFL players. It's just for me, like, he went to social media and complained about it. He's still a coach for the 49ers. He's still doing things in the NFL. Part of it doesn't sit right with me because, like, yes, it's clearly on tape. He's good. I think he went down as one of the top 100 of all time, didn't he? Because of his stuff with the Patriots and all that. I mean, I feel like he's on a list somewhere for that crap. Well, Welker's all right. I mean,
he won a bunch of Super Bowls. He was that guy. But at the same time, you gotta get your paperwork in order. And he complains about it, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, they should." No, get your paperwork in order.
And Tila says here, I believe that others have posted their letters too. I believe they have too. But I think that what we're saying is with Wes Welker didn't do his own homework. He didn't get his proper documents. Now, if he had 15 pages of documents of like head injuries and trauma, like different PTs, it's like if you don't have the stuff, like we're teachers, so we know, like, honestly, if you get hurt at work, you have to record that right away so you get your compensation. If you don't do it, nobody's going to run behind you and chase you and say, hey, by the way, dude, you didn't turn what you need to turn in it. You just didn't do it. That's a part of being an adult man. Like, unfortunately, just feel bad for this guy. Sorry, tough shit. Get over it. Move on. Take your millions and the millions that you're probably still making as a coach and go get a doctor. Like, get some health insurance.
Get some health insurance. Yeah, with him still being in the NFL, you could still get the best care the NFL provides. I don't know if there's a separate like coaches plan or not. I'd be curious to know about that part. Obviously, Wes Welker probably gonna share some things.
No, go down to this one with Johnny. Get your ducks in a row. Come on, JD. I bet you have it in the safe because you need it. Yes, because I need it. He doesn't have his stuff. He doesn't have his ducks in a row clearly. Because if I need to take my DD 214, the rest of my documents are attached with it. It's in a big ass folder. The folder's like this big.
And that's a conversation like I feel like they don't have. So we always hear about how at the beginning of your playing career, you go to this rookie symposium, right? And they tell you the way to behave, and they tell you this is part of something that should be a part of it. Like, hey, you're gonna get hurt throughout it. You need to make sure that you keep records of everything. Because there's going to be a time where you're going to apply for something and they're going to want to see this stuff. And they're going to try and figure out a way to deny your claims. Insurance companies' goals are to deny your claims.
Exactly. Everybody knows that. Like okay, so the companies have their lawyers who go to fight you for your compensation. Just like when I was in the military, before I got out, people legitimately were trying to tell me that I wasn't disabled based on whatever. But I had like that, like I told Johnny, that thick envelope of every single injury, every single time I went to the doctor, every single time I had a seizure, every single time that anything happened to me, I had it. And so it's no way to refute incidents from actual doctors. Now, if you just got some hearsay, like I had team doctor at the Patriots we know they cheat, who wrote this letter, who says, hey, dude was hurt. Like, that's not enough. I need to see some labs, some scans, some x-rays, some MRIs, all the stuff necessary to make that type of decision, because you're gonna want money for the rest of your life. So you want some type of term of disability, which you need to provide that you're still either A, getting care for this stuff, or B, you need to get continuous care. If you don't have that, then it's just tough shit, bro.
Right. And Teal's saying here, I worked in HR for many years, and there's for sure more to this. If he's posting it, then he did turn stuff in, and they're just taking him off for a technicality, which is also true because, again, insurance companies want to deny your claim.
Yes, that is what they're paid to do.
So
if they're taking Wes Welker off and he doesn't have enough documentation, then post those MRIs, dude. You're posting everything else. Post the MRIs. There's enough doctors and lawyers on Twitter that will your story. They will corroborate your story.
But the problem is, as Adam says here, as long as Kraft and Belichick are there, they will somehow find a way to cheat.
Yeah, Belichick and yes, Kraft.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we got 4 topics left. I'm hoping we don't go green here because I'm not quite ready for it yet.
If you go green, you gotta go green, bud.
I know. Okay.
Oh, cool. NFL moves.
Cool.
We could probably knock out all 3 of these in one foul swoop.
Cool. Max, good evening to you, sir. You missed good stuff in the first 36, so you gotta make sure you go back. All right. One of the dumbest things that I have seen, and I've been saying it for months now, is Jimmy Garoppolo should be on the San Francisco 49ers. Have I not been saying this for months? We have done segments, which are whose team should Jimmy Garoppolo be on? And I've said he's not going to get traded. Nobody wants a salary. He should just stay there until Trey Lance is ready. Correct?
You've been saying that, but it just
this was a take that I knew I was right on.
But honestly, okay. But are you actually right, or is it just nobody else is willing to take that damn contract?
Well,
because he gets paid.
He is now the highest paid backup in NFL history. They agreed to restructure the deal. I don't know the numbers yet, but I do know that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be on the San Francisco 49ers for one more year. Trey Lance at some point is going to struggle. The clamoring is going to begin for Jimmy Garoppolo, and you're going to have a quarterback controversy for the rest of the season. And when Jimmy Garoppolo leads this team into the playoffs, you're going to have a problem because Trey Lance wasn't the one that did it.
Okay. Let me stop you there, bud. I want to throw this out there for you. I want to give you a breath of fresh air. I want to say you were right that he would be on this team. The only problem is Jimmy Garoppolo offers you nothing other than another game manager that we've seen in the NFL lately. You either got the guy or you got a guy to get you to the next guy comes. And I don't honestly think that Trey Lance is the guy or Jimmy Garoppolo. So at this point in the game, they're just expensive paperweights. And they're just hoping that they can ride Deebo Samuel into the damn sunset. But
that's the thing. You've got Deebo Samuel. You've got a stud defensive couple of players, including a Bosa. You've got a young coach who is an offensive-minded guy. This team has a lot of the pieces. And you're going to see at some point in the West, you're going to see Stafford missing some time. You're already hearing about shoulder stuff. They are not the same team that won last season. And we're going to talk about some of the Rams in a second. Believe you me. The Seahawks are an absolute garbage dumpster fire team. Who is to say that the 49ers don't win this division?
It's not to say that they won't or will, but they're a layup. When they play out, they're a layup. You're gonna see them.
Okay, but again, all right. So round week 6, Trey Lance has really suffered. And again, Max, I agree. What does Trey Lance have to offer you?
Nothing.
Besides, I don't know if you saw him at the one post-game conference. He's got to get his hair fixed.
You gotta let it free.
I don't know about that. You'd rather get a cap or something. But around week 6, week 7, when he starts to struggle and he gets mysteriously hurt, right?
They're both going to struggle because neither one of them is.
And Jimmy Garoppolo leads this team into the playoffs. And I don't care if they get spanked. You're just going to let him walk for Trey Lance then to struggle again the following season.
They're both, like you just said, no matter who the quarterback is, you're not going to sit Trey Lance in this division right now. Because he'll have no test. Bosa's going to run havoc.
George Kittle wants Jimmy Garoppolo throwing him the ball.
George Kittle can want what he wants. It's probably going to be Debo Samuel throwing in the ball, though, unfortunately.
Well, that's also true.
So let's just be honest. Like, I mean, they run so much trickery with the mind of Shanahan. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. As long as they can throw the ball more than 2 yards, they pretty much can win with anybody in this division. Division stinks. It went from being the best division to being like the worst. Just because of like, there's a lot of uncertainties with the Rams. There's a lot of uncertainties definitely with the Seahawks. I think they're just mailing it in at this point. And
Well, they don't have a choice.
Who else in the division? The Raiders?
No, that's AFC. And the Cardinals. The Cardinals got question marks up and down.
Well, not as many as you think, because honestly,
they do, because Kyler Murray and his gaming headset is not going to have DeAndre Hopkins to throw the football to for the first 6 weeks of the season.
But he has his college. He has his college target that is going to play better than he played at Baltimore, because they got Marquise Brown.
Max, I do think there is uncertainty with the Rams because, like I said, Stafford is going to miss time. You already have lost a backup in Wooford or whatever the dude's name is. So you got to figure out who your backup quarterback is. You no longer have Odell Beckham.
Well, not
because of the injury. Well, he's a free agent. He's not even on the team.
He will be, because what's going to end up happening is they're going to wait, see how he looks when he comes back, and then offer him a deal. Just because you just don't know what he's got 2 torn ACL, so it would be bad business to offer him a deal while he's still injured. It's bad business.
I think that the Rams can still win the division. I think that the 49ers do win the division, though, with Jimmy Garoppolo playing quarterback. And then, as Johnny says here, and I don't know what he ever possibly could be insinuating, but as Johnny says, there's nothing worse than having a mediocre quarterback that will win you some games but not carry you.
I don't know what he's referring to. Unless he's referring to San Francisco at this point.
He is not. He is not referring to San Francisco.
If he's not, then he's one of those people that we don't like you here. You're not allowed.
Now, Johnny has very strong opinions about a certain quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles that is not Gardner Minshew. And
it hurts to be a hater. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, we're going to see it on tape this year. I mean, I'm on the Hurts. I'm on the Hurts wagon for sure. Johnny's just over here cheesing. He knows that we know. He knows we know.
We know you,
Max. It's not set in stone. It's not official yet, but there was a lot of talk in the offseason about shoulder pain and freakish shoulder concerns that they basically put him on a pitcher's rest. He barely threw this offseason.
And he will be on a snap count. I mean, he'll be on a snap count, and I think he'll be on, like, maybe not, because you don't need him every single game. Like, your defense is good enough to hold you. The only issue with them is they did go out and get Allen Robinson. You know what I'm saying? They did make some moves in the offseason. So that looks very appealing. You still got Cooper Kupp, I'm pretty sure.
You still Van Jefferson,
You got some guys. You got some dudes. I'm not saying that they don't have firepower. It's just if Stafford can't go, the alternative is, who's the backup again?
Let's find out. Hold on.
Is it Josh Rosen? Who knows? Who knows who their backup is?
Hold on. I have to scroll pretty far. Rams QBs. Bryce Perkins.
Don't know who that is. I have no idea. But we've been the last couple of years, it's been the league of replacements. So at the end of the day, and then you still got guys that are sitting out there without a contract. Like, they could pull in Colin Kaepernick.
No.
I know that's a sore spot for you. But I'm just saying.
No, it's not even that it's a sore spot. It's just that he's clearly not the guy, and he got absolutely no looks from anybody this offseason. And, we're going to see a pretty big cut day tomorrow.
They go get Cam Newton.
He's better than 32 other quarterbacks, so he says. Just ask Cam.
I don't understand I don't understand that. What? I don't understand the want from Philly fans to see Hurts fail. Oh, okay. I get that. Okay. Yeah. I don't either. I've never understand. I don't really understand it. Cats are saying he's like, he's like the second coming of like a game manager or, whatever. It's really hard.
We don't know. And it was funny because I happened to be listening to, and we're going to talk about the Eagles roster in a minute. That's one of the spots.
And Michael Irvin.
I was listening to Sports Talk Radio for some reason, and they were talking about how there was no point that Jalen Hurts had this offseason that was like, wow, he's the guy. He kind of just came in and did a job.
Yeah.
Which is okay. You know what I mean? It's okay if he just comes in and does a job. You know, the question is, can this team win the NFC East and get into the playoffs and win a playoff game? Because that's now the ceiling for this team. Can you win a playoff game if Jalen Hurts is not the guy? Do you have enough?
The question really is, honestly, is not if Jalen Hurts is the guy or not. Because you've done the thing already. You've already
right. He is going to be the guy
for a while, at least for a couple years. He's the guy until you either because CJ Stroud's in his draft. I don't think they're gonna be good enough. They're not gonna be bad enough to get CJ Stroud.
No.
So let's just be honest.
Bryce Young.
Or Bryce Young, or any other, since they say it's a loaded quarterback draft. Let's just be honest.
It is.
It's a loaded quarterback draft, but we've already seen at the end of the day that just because it's a loaded doesn't mean that guy's going to come out and produce. That could be. I mean, you gotta remember at some point somebody took
Jamarcus Russell.
Somebody took Johnny Manziel. Like
someone did take Johnny Manziel. Someone took Johnny Manziel. Someone took Jamarcus Russell. Somebody took Tim Couch. Somebody took Tim Tebow.
And then he's saying, like, somebody saying, Matt, the 2 draft picks will get you to a good quarterback. But at the end of the day, like, listen, the dude took you when you get basically nobody to the playoffs. Like last year, that team was significantly worse.
And the other thing is that at this point, those 2 first-round draft picks are for filling holes. They are not for restarting. Like, you have other pieces in place. Like, those first-round draft picks are to pick up a first-round running back because Miles Sanders is not it.
I don't think he's it, but I think you got him. I think you got the guy.
And a safety.
You do need a safety, and you do need to shore up your backside, the corners. Like, but you've already addressed the corners. Well, you already addressed the receiver situation. You got at least 3 decent receivers, including Dallas Goedert. You've already shored up.
Then you got 4.
Yeah, technically, yes. You still got Ray Gordon team, so that doesn't count.
I wasn't counting Ray Gordon. You got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. You counted Goddard. I'm not going to do that. But you have Quez Watkins.
I forgot about Quez. I'm sorry. I forgot about Quez. Belay my last. I forgot. So you got those guys, but you're not really. Nobody takes in consideration that literally you got Kenny Gainwell, and now your defense is stronger than it's been in a long time. You actually have a linebacker that can really go. Like, the kid can go. Like, he's not playing like a rookie. Was at least what I saw from him. And you shore it up, and you got the heir apparent for Cox. So Cox doesn't have to play for 10 more years.
Correct. And Max, this is the point. I agree. The picks are to fill holes, but I also think they're there in case Hurts does shit the bed. And I agree with that. The hope is that he does know, and you've put things around him. So again, we got on this topic because don't say that. Don't say that. I don't think it's going to be Jordan Howard. I think that there's going to be a move for. Well, first off, you cannot run this team. And Max, it's interesting that you said, you don't need a first-round talent running back in the NFL to win. That's true, but you do need running backs. And this team cannot be successful with only Boston Scott and only Kenny Gainwell. And Miles Sanders is supposed to be this guy. You're going to need somebody. I don't want to trade for Kareem Hunt. I think his asking price is too high. You're going to find somebody that gets cut on the waiver wire. There's the dude out of Minnesota who is being linked to us up and down.
Right.
And you still have trade bait and Andre Dillard, and teams need a left tackle, and Jalen Reagor. Nobody's going to pick up Jalen Reagor, but it is what it is.
So we go back to this comment about the 2 linebackers. I didn't forget about Hassan Reddick. I really didn't. It's just that we already kind of know who Hassan Reddick is. But Nakobe Dean is a major situation. Like,
and on top of that, you still have guys like TJ Edwards who can now play the position.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's my concern, and I'll tell you what, let's go to the wheel for a second, because we have gone way off of the Eagles. We have. I'm going to remove the Eagles roster here.
Yeah, we were already talking about them.
Because we were talking about them. Yes, and Kaiser White again. So now we have a problem in the linebacker room. We have a bunch of good linebackers. It's excellent. It's wonderful. So here's my concern. And I mentioned this. I had this conversation with my wife. So we're talking about this preseason football stuff. And, they played one drive of the week 1 preseason game, the starters, like the starters. They don't play it all during the second. They don't play it all during the third. And you say, oh, they have the joint practices. Cool. They still aren't hitting you. They are still not hitting you. You're still wearing those fancy red jerseys. They're still not hitting you. And all the joint practices against the Dolphins really didn't happen. Why? Because a tummy bug went through the Dolphins and they, threw up fish or whatever it is that they do. So now you haven't played week 2 of the preseason, week 3 of the preseason. You have a bye week this week. You are going on a month with no live Dane action.
Yes.
Before your first game of the season against the Detroit Lions. So I'm not necessarily worried. I've been watching Hard Knocks mostly to see Craig Reynolds at a Kutztown and Dan Campbell biting somebody's knees and saying, he can bite you with one buttocks or whatever it is that he said. It's some goofy stuff.
I like that guy, though.
I like what he says. I wouldn't like him as a coach. It's a bit much. But I am worried about the rust factor for these guys because we saw for the Philadelphia Eagles that the depth is not there.
I don't know if that's true, but
they got spanked by 40 points to the Dolphins.
Listen,
I know the Dolphins threw their starters.
Exactly. Let's just be real about this whole thing. You're looking at something with rose-colored lenses. Because you're not looking at those guys aren't playing as hard as they possibly can play. It's like when you watch the regular season in the NBA compared to the postseason. All these guys that get off during the regular season, they're in talks or scoring championships and stuff. And then when the defense constricts, when the game really gets live, those guys disappear. It's the same thing in NFL. Week 1, they'll be ready to play. Those guys aren't old. AJ Brown's a veteran. Devontae Smith is in his second year, but he's looking to be good. Jalen Hurts knows what's at stake. The offense,
but just because he knows, does he have the ability to do something about it? And that's where I would have liked to have seen him get a couple more reps.
So let me ask you this: what's the difference between him playing meaningful football all year last year to not playing one less game or 3 less games than he would normally play? I don't think that matters.
All right, so you got a couple things. Number one, you got a new receiver in AJ Brown who you haven't played with in a couple years. So I'm just going to start there. I mean, that's an easy off the top of my head. Second one is in the event of Jason Kelce not being ready, he needs more reps with his new center, Cam Jurgens.
True, but snaps are snaps, dude. These guys are professionals. At the end of the day, they'll work it out. They're playing the freaking Lions. They're not playing.
And Javier, I was definitely not asking for no preseason games. Was definitely not. I was saying that the games are fine, but there has to be something worth seeing. And if you bought tickets, to these last 2 games, again, it's the same thing that we were talking about at the top of the show of preseason football or sitting out your LeBron Jameses or saying that Bryce Harper's going to be there in the minors and then not. I get it. You're running a business. I get if these guys get hurt. And that's the big positive is that we are entering the season very, very healthy.
And young.
Again, I would have liked to have seen Jalen Hurts take a drive in this last game because, again, having a month off of football is a lot.
They haven't really had a month off, Chip. They just haven't played games. He hasn't not been practicing. I think you don't value practice because that's all you really get before games anyways, practice.
I don't value practice because I'm still jaded by Doug Peterson practices.
Yeah, these ain't Doug Peterson practices. This guy's really yelling at these guys. I mean, he's not out here trying to be their best friends. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. And again, Johnny's saying, no, I'd rather have rust and injuries. Ask the Jets if they'd be worried about rust. Yeah, because Zach Wilson, crumbled like a cracker.
He only crumbled like crap because he saw a MILF in the stand.
Stop it. We are not in the Shenan land yet. We're not in Shenan land. All right.
All I'm saying is the
Steelers, and again, the Steelers have a slightly different conversation. Who's QB1?
In my eyes,
yeah,
Trubisky didn't do anything to lose the job, dude. So it's Trubisky.
Okay,
he's the veteran guy. The same argument you're going to make for Garoppolo, you can make for Trubisky. He hasn't done anything to lose the game. He actually, since I've been thinking about this more and more, I think we're in a really good spot. And I really like the new receiver, the new young receiver we just got.
Mm-hmm.
I really like him, and I think he's a big body like Claypool, and Claypool may be able to be top 5 in the league now.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this: any team is good when they have a dominant running game. And Najee
Harris should be pretty damn good.
Yeah, he's going to give us that. And so Trubisky doesn't have to be perfect. He don't even have to be good for real. The defense is going. The Steelers defense is still the Steelers defense. He's going to be fine. Kenny Pickett is going to continue to get ready. When you talking about Harris, this man was there.
Max is feeling a type of way about him being on the field.
Summer, 4 to 6 weeks to recover. Why did he touch the field last night? Okay, so Max, let me just throw this out there. He's going to miss those weeks. You know what I'm saying? He's going to miss it. I don't think the Steelers are that worried about it. I mean, honestly, they may be, but they probably not if he played. You know what I'm saying? I know Tomlin, and Tomlin's not risking Harris unless he knew that it wasn't. Maybe it's not as serious as this. You know, maybe it's not that serious. You know, 4 to 6 weeks to recover. When did the summer start?
I'll say June.
Isn't it's like September?
Yeah, I mean he's at the end of that, but again, do you want to put him on the preseason? I'm just saying, but do you want to put him on the field?
I do.
So there you go. It's the same conversation we were just having of why do you want him to get game reps then?
No, not to get game reps. He needs to make me feel better as far as like I just need to see him run. Like I don't need to see anything. Quarterbacks are different. Like there's so many different ways. Like Jalen Hurts can hand the ball off 150 times, or he can run. His legs didn't quit working. Like that's his one of his number one threats. Like it's his legs. I don't want to see this guy and see something out down the field and then take off in the preseason game and now he's done. So I mean, double-edged sword. I think Harris needed to get out there to get his game shape back. Unlike a quarterback, you don't really need to be in game shape as a quarterback. You're playing. I don't really see quarterbacks getting tired. Unfortunately,
he's got to get up to game speed. I mean, even Tom Brady came back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and the Liz Frank sprain is nothing to mess around with. Who just ended their season? Dude from it was a quarterback. It was a rookie quarterback. He was just put on IR for the season for the same sprain.
Rookie quarterback
from the Panthers. Corral's done for the year.
Yeah, Matt Corral is trash can juice. He stays hurt all the time.
He does stay.
Najee Harris is built like a brick shit house. Like Liz Frank isn't going to mess with him. Let's take this what's called.
All right. I took off the Steelers thing. I'm going to spin it just to give myself a second of composure.
You're out of control. I want to be the calm one today. I've made a vow.
Okay. And yes, TJ Watt did hurt his knee last night as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's why the preseason is not necessary.
I find myself once again absolutely disgusted by all things NFL players right now. And again, I'm talking in generalities, but two players specifically we need to discuss. Number one is Aaron Donald and his grotesque behavior at the joint practice that has gotten exactly zero punishment and will get zero punishment, as the NFL has said. Why? Because he's Aaron fucking Donald.
He is Aaron fucking Donald.
And then there is the disgusting, garbage piece of absolute crap, Matt Ariza, formerly of the Buffalo Bills.
Formerly of the NFL.
Formerly of the NFL. As Matt said an hour ago, he is a piece of trash and belongs in prison.
I don't see anything wrong, he says here.
I do not understand for the life of me why these guys are allowed to just do these things and why they continue to do these things. And yes, Max, it's because the NFL supposedly doesn't have jurisdiction over things that happen in joint practices. It's amazing what the NFL has jurisdiction over and what they don't have jurisdiction over, where you can go, the whole massage thing and they have jurisdiction over that. And, you can drive fast and there's jurisdiction over that. And there's, you have to be a good person and there's jurisdiction over that. And there's, beating the crap out of dogs and kids and carrying guns in the clubs. And there's jurisdiction over that. And there's kneeling on a field and there's jurisdiction over that. And there's, posting that, you're against the police because of things, because, you're black and there's police brutality and all this, and there's jurisdiction over that.
Fair enough.
But you take two helmets into your hands at a joint NFL practice and start swinging them and hurting other people, and they're making contact, and there is zero consequence. Why? Because you are allegedly the best NFL defensive player in the league. It is disgusting and it is pathetic. That's how I feel about Aaron Donald. And this is not the first time that Aaron Donald has been overly aggressive. There has been choking. There has been there have been so many things that Aaron Donald has done and called on tape, and there are never suspensions, never penalties. Why? Because Aaron Donald is the top defensive player. The Matt Ariza thing, again, no jurisdiction. Why? Because it happened when he was a college player. So the NFL can't punish him. However, what has come out about the Matt Ariza thing is that when he was, for those of you who have been living under a rock for the last couple of days, when he was 21 years old, he was at a college party, and a 17-year-old high school senior came to the party where he had sex with her, took her into the house, and he and multiple buddies of his raped her for hours and hours and hours. We'll just start at the most easy thing to call out because very few people are saying that. He was 21. She was 17.
And she told him she was 17, by the way.
And said, I am 17. I am in high school. That is called statutory rape. So that is just, before we go anywhere else, there's that. Then there's all the other stuff where these things happen. The lawyers contacted the Buffalo Bills and said, hey, this is what happened. And the Buffalo Bills drafted him anyway. And they cut their other punter because he was going to be the guy. Because I didn't know all this and I was just a fan, I was like, we got to go out and draft Matt Ariza. I wanted him on this Philadelphia Eagles team. My God, I am glad he's not on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Can I interject here for a second?
Go ahead, because I'm honestly disgusted right now.
I want to throw this out there, and I need it to be heard by everyone out here in podcast land. We are in a country that is built on raping, pillaging, and taking what you want from people. If you're social studies buff or history buff, you know what I'm talking about. So we get upset now in this day and age when people act the way they've seen for the last, I don't know, thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? They act what they've seen and they act out these things and they take what they want from people, especially people who have a vagina. They take what they want, and we all sit around and we're in awe of the things that they try to get away with. And now we're in a position where this guy has taken a girl and took what he wanted, and him and his friends ran a train on this girl and gave her STDs, and what we're not talking about, the fact that they gave her STDs, STIs, they ruined her life. She was 17 years old. So that means everything that happened after that has probably been a downward spiral of her trying to get her life back. Not to mention if there's a video, not to mention if they were, she has intimacy issues with men now. No one's thinking about that stuff. So it's just a simple fact that we all are talking about what Deshaun Watson did, and everybody's up in arms about what Deshaun Watson did. But he really hurts nobody. Like, he ain't raped nobody. These dudes legitimately raped this girl, gang raped her for hours while she was passed out drunk or whatever. And it's like, that's the type of stuff, like, that's the rape culture that we live in, where you can take advantage of a woman, regardless of your color, creed, or whatever. Take advantage of somebody. And then the fact of the matter that they've been able to put these things out and nobody has said, hey, these charges need to come right now. NFL hasn't said these charges need to come right. Oh, they just let him go because he's a PR fucking nightmare. He's a PR nightmare. That's why they let him go. There's no way they survive this. So,
no, and again, if you're talking about it from, and I can't believe that this is what we're discussing, the football side of things, the Bills are a Super Bowl contending team. They don't need this level of distraction. Okay, that's the last I want to talk about the football side of this thing.
Yes.
The point blank period. Remember, this is disgusting. This is constantly happening. And this is what I was talking about before when I was furious about the Deshaun Watson thing, is if there are no consequences for behavior like this behavior doesn't change. So, okay, the Bills cut him. The NFL is not saying, hey, this guy is not allowed back in the league. Why? Because they don't have jurisdiction. So you're telling me that a team right now could sign this guy. They could. They could go out and sign this guy. And he hired a lawyer, and what's the lawyer saying? She wants my money.
What money do you have?
Well, because he was drafted, therefore he signs a contract.
Yeah, but he don't have no money for real. He's on a rookie contract.
But that's what she's there for the money. Because that's what we do. That's what this culture has done, is they then twist it to be, no, I'm the victim. She's coming after me. She's lying about me. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. And I don't know, without making examples of some of these guys, how this changes. And why was it so easy for the Bills to cut him? Because he was a punter.
Not only was he a punter, he's not making no real money. Like, that's what people like. You know how we say this all the time? When rookies get drafted and they prove themselves to be great, we say that we got them for pennies. Like, this is pennies. Like, he's making pennies compared to the Aaron Donalds of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's making pennies compared to the Patrick Mahomes and stuff of the world. So in all honesty, if you're going after money, you're not going after him. He ain't got no damn money.
But again, but this is my point. This is where we connect the Matt Arizas to the Deshaun Watsons. Why are the Bills able to cut this guy, but the Browns are not cutting Deshaun Watson for, if not worse behavior? Max, what if this has come out, and it doesn't, and I don't want to slander this guy because I'm a big Josh Allen fan, but what if this comes out about Josh Allen? Do the Bills do the same thing? Do they cut him?
No, absolutely not.
So why is it so easy to do the right thing?
It's
because he's not important to the team.
It's only easy to do the right thing because there's really no repercussions for doing the wrong thing in this situation.
Javier said it here. Even with Watson being suspended that many games, he gets rewarded with that same contract.
So I don't know if I told you that before, but I was a sexual assault advocate. Like, that was what I did in the military. And I'm always very, very careful of, like, how I approach these things, because, like, there's just so much stuff you just don't know. Like, being at these cases and being at these trials, you just don't know. But there's one thing that you cannot. Physical evidence is something you cannot refute.
And there was.
And there was lots of physical evidence. So when you got lots of physical evidence, people to corroborate her story, I got it right this time.
You did. And again, the victim reported the incident immediately after it happened. Immediately. Right.
And there's a big, people forget this, that the harassment is actions that you don't touch you. It's the Deshaun Watson stuff. It's like, hey, making the nasty comments or revealing yourself or whatever. And they're not the same. Unfortunately, they're not the same, and they're not treated the same under the eyes of the law. Like, they're just not. Because some things are heinous. Like, honestly, raping somebody is heinous. Like, to physically take someone against their will and force them to do things is absolutely repulsive.
I agree.
Like, listen, like, women and some men get catcalled all the time. Unfortunately, that's just the world we live in. But that next step up, that physical grabbing, making someone do something to you, that is the difference. And I hate saying it like that because people get very upset, but that is the difference between sexual assault, sexual harassment, and just sexual misconduct.
And Max, again, I got to give a shout out, man. The comments tonight have been,
they're spot on.
They always are, and I JD and I talk about this all the time. Like, we really enjoy doing this show because we get an opportunity to talk to people, and you guys are really hitting the nail on the head here. And Max says, then you have the keyboard warriors calling the girl a liar, this and that. We wonder why women don't come out and raise these issues. Yeah. But why would they, when all they know is that their names are going to get dragged through the mud?
But in the same scenario, though, I will say this: in the last probably 5 to 10 years, when women come out like this, there's more public outrage against the guy than there used to be. There was always like that. There's always she's just a whore. Like, she was asking for, come on. She was wanting it. That's becoming less and less now. And the guys that are really saying that are really dirtbags, and they look really bad saying it. So now these guys are getting asked all the guys, like, don't you got a daughter? don't you got a sister or a mom? So now we're in a position where you got guys, or you got men saying stuff, speaking up, saying, hey, we're not standing for this. Like, the NFL's got some creeps. We know it. It's a part of life. Hell,
a lot of them are the owners. A lot of them are the owners.
some of us work with creeps. And we know the guys that will say little stuff and they'll make it seem like it's a joke, but a lot of truth is said in jest. So a lot of stuff guys joke about is how they really feel about something. So unfortunately, we're going to have to deal with this for quite some time. But hopefully these guys are dying off like, prehistoric animals that used to be on the earth.
Yeah, the cavemen that they are.
Allegedly.
Yeah, the cavemen that they are. I mean, like I said, I just when this all came out last week, the show was going to write itself, and I'm kind of at a peaceful place now where at least we got through all the other topics before I wanted to sit down with this. I just need, and again, it crosses over into all sports, talking about things like cheating scandals, like the Fernando Tatisas of the world, where you had the entire baseball world at your disposal. You were the cover of MLB 21, I think. You have Adidas deals and you have all this, and you cheat for what?
Well, okay, so can we talk? We haven't really talked about this Fernando thing. Can I just?
We have not.
So when it came to this Tatis situation, and I'm saying this with all the type of respect, cheating in baseball is kind of par for the course now.
Yeah,
it's kind of so for him to be getting such things like losing his sponsorship with Adidas and things like that, like in all honesty, that's a little overkill. Because honestly, he did it once. It's not like he's an habitual offender. I feel like
hold on. He got caught once.
Oh, okay. Well, he got caught once, and it's been made public once. But he loses his endorsements off of the time he got caught, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many other guys, if we went through right now and drug tested all these freaking fools, they're just using something that isn't getting caught yet. You know what I'm saying? Because they change up every so often. They're finding new ways to cheat. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, apparently.
Right. I need, and you and I have talked about this, where these professional athletes are not supposed to be the moral compass.
They're not. They can't be.
They're not supposed to be the moral compass. Celebrities are not supposed to be the moral compass, but they are. They are the moral compasses. They are the moral compasses for the world. They
are the moral compass.
It's plural already?
Well, a compass it's one, but it ends with an S.
But they are. They are. And we can track this all the way down to there's already teams, I think in Texas and Pennsylvania, all over the place, that are losing their football seasons. Why? Because of hazing. How is hazing making a comeback?
Because it is, dude. Hazing never went anywhere. It just wasn't publicized. Okay, so can I tell a story?
Sure.
Okay. So back in my day, I had to walk to school 4 miles with no shoes. Like
uphill both ways.
Uphill both ways. When I was young, when I was playing varsity basketball as a freshman, I got hazed, but it wasn't like to the extent. Like it was like, hey, carry my bag. Like, hey,
so hold on. That's not hazing.
No, you're saying it's not hazing, but it is a form of hazing. It's a form of bullying, which is all the same thing. This stuff never went anywhere. We just called it different things. Like it never went anywhere, Chip, because we work in the school system, so we know it doesn't go anywhere.
But that stuff is, again, to me, that's not hazing. That's like paying your dues, right? Shoving jalapeno peppers up a guy's ass is hazing.
Yeah. Because in their mind, they don't see what Tila's saying. They don't see the toxic masculinity in that. Like that's actually sexual assault. That's sodomy.
Right.
So like they don't see it like that. And that brings me back to my other point about the way that the world is done. If you make it a joke, it's a joke. It's not sodomy. No, it's sodomy. You put something in somebody's butt. Like that's sex.
Right. This is right.
Yeah. It's like intern getting the coffees. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you can't.
And it's stupidity. Like Little League World Series. Did you catch the big stupidity coming out of the Little League World Series?
No, I did not. But I'm sure you're going to tell me, and I want to hear.
I'm going to tell you all about it. Team from America. They have one black kid on their roster. He did a great thing. What did they do? They poured cotton balls on his head.
Say again, one more time.
Baseball team from America.
Mm-hmm.
Black kid on the team. Did something awesome. They started decorating his head with cotton balls. This was covered on ESPN.
Am I missing the racial undertone here?
I mean, it
I'm not
came out
offended, but-
it came out pretty quickly that, hey, utilizing the cotton with the black kid wasn't the greatest visual for this next generation of young baseball players.
Is that his nickname or something?
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
okay.
We can get that part of the story.
Okay, so there's a couple things here. I grew up in the South, so there's cotton everywhere. Now, if they would have took a cotton plant and put a cotton plant on him, then yes. But I'm not really seeing. Are they referring to the type of hair that he has? Maybe his hair looks like cotton balls, or maybe they wanted to use something soft so they didn't hurt him. I don't know. I don't know. I don't see the racial undertone there. I mean, there could be somebody in the comments explain it to me, but I don't see the racial undertone.
Hold on. I'm going to.
And some of these kids have never even seen cotton, so that's not even.
I'm trying to put up the picture for the world to see here. Open image in here. Okay, here we go. So now I have to share my screen. Hold on. So basically, this happened right here.
They glued cotton balls to his head?
Correct.
I don't see issue. And I'm pretty sure that's a brown kid that's doing it to him. I'm pretty sure that kid's not white.
I think he's tan. But again, either way, okay, so this is all innocent. No one's offended. Maybe some people are offended. It gets down. It gets covered. It gets blown out of social proportions. Fine. It's not a great look in 2022 because of what happened, in 1722. Okay, so it's not a great look. But stuff like this happens because of high school hazing, which happens because of college hazing, which happens because of professional athletes not knowing how to behave themselves.
I don't know if we go that far. I just think, so some of this stuff is fun. Okay, so for example, I'm going to say this. When we used to ride the bus, the new kid, whoever's the new guy on varsity, would carry the bag. You would carry a senior's bag. This is kind of it's play your dues.
Again, paying your dues.
Right. You pay your dues or whatever. But at what point do we differentiate between paying your dues and being a dick? So that's where we have to really start going back and looking okay, well.
And this is big too. Sometimes, again, we talk about this in my cultural proficiency stuff because I teach in a mostly minority school district. So I do need to know a little bit about what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, what gets blown out of proportion. I have to know some of these things. Sometimes there's an anger because white people are overcorrecting and creating rage.
Yeah, there's no rage here. I'm not raged at all. I think that this kid probably has some type of inside joke, or maybe that was the thing. If you hit the last home run, maybe you get cotton balls taped to your head or something.
Right. And I think it's important. And again, once again, the reason why I love the show is because you and I are able to have a conversation being of different skin tones where I go, hey, I see this. It doesn't look right. Let me ask somebody from a different skin tone, hey, is this wrong? And you're over here going, I mean, not saying that you speak for all black people, but just saying, hey, this is not that big of an issue.
It's like when the guy wins the thing, the NASCAR thing, and he drinks milk really fast until he throws it up, basically. Is that considered hazing? No, it's not. It's something you do at a celebration.
It's just considered stupid because once you're past the age of 2, you shouldn't be drinking pure almond milk. Get yourself some almond milk.
I mean, or you drink it, it's hot outside normally, so it's that stuff's curdled like this.
That's a whole other discussion.
All right, are we ready to shenan? Because I got to end this show on a good note because I'm feeling
7 white people.
I'm feeling some shenanigans.
The Phillies do the pies. I like the Phillies pies too.
I do.
I'm not against that. I'm all for this type of shenanigans.
You ready to shenan?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, shenan number 1. Can Dennis Rodman save Brittany Griner? Yes. Dennis Rodman is planning on going over to Russia to talk to Putin about releasing Brittany Griner from prison. Can Dennis Rodman save Brittany Griner?
If anyone can do it, Dennis Rodman can.
My man Dennis Rodman is friends with Kim Jong-un and Putin.
I don't think Kim Jong-un is a person anymore, but yes.
I don't know if he's buddies with Ill, but I know he was friends with Kim Jong-un.
I'm pretty sure that dude's dead.
Max, real simple. Yes. Dennis Rodman can do anything, says Javier.
Listen, on top of it, people aren't talking about this. He literally almost stopped the nuclear war.
He did.
Just by being friends with a guy. And to think about this, the guy who married himself can do anything.
Can Dennis Rodman say Brittany Griner? And the peoples have spoken. They say, indeed.
Yeah, he can do it.
Question 2. This isn't a question. This is just hysterical. It's Nick Cannon FaceTiming all of his kids.
Well, the fact that he has 35 iPhones and they look like all iPhone 13, so he's really doing it big.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, has my man has never found a vasectomy that he has turned down. Or has agreed to. Excuse me.
I just feel like his pullout game is like mad weak. Like I just feel like he just is not able to get out of there.
Right. He's missing the out of wild and out.
I don't know. I think he's never met a period that he's liked. He just likes to stop them from happening. But why are these women just letting them just like do that up in there? Like, I mean, I don't know.
Nick Cannon.
But he's not like a heartthrob. He's
not
Cannon.
Good. He's not talented.
I mean, no, he's talented.
Can I just?
Uh-oh.
No. I don't want to be on screen.
She's over here now.
But let me just say that these women are pregnant simultaneously with one another. Like
Sister
he's
wives.
sleeping with all of them.
Yes, they're sister wives.
They're sister wives.
Continuously. And then they go, oh well, they're very cordial to each other. Like this man is not attractive enough for all these girls to be going crazy over him.
He's a mogul.
Sorry.
He's a mogul.
He's not a mogul.
He is a
I
mogul.
don't like this man.
Why? Okay, let me just start that. We're upset with Nick Cannon.
Can't get over Mariah Carey.
We're upset. It's gonna be like the Targaryens. It's gonna be
Yes, this is how Game of Thrones in 2022 happens. It's House Cannon
House Cannon against House everybody else.
against the rest of the human race by the time he's done with them.
He has 175 wives.
It's absurd. It's absurd. All right. Speaking of absurd, I'm going to show you this image, and I quickly showed it on the screen, but this is terrifying. That is an image. For those of you listening, I apologize, but you should watch. It's Manute Bol swimming. For those of you that don't know, Manute Bol, I think, is what, 7'7", 7'6", 7'3", somewhere in that range.
No, he's 7'6".
Okay, so he's tall as hell.
Is he dead?
Yes, this is a photo from the 70s or the 80s.
Why is he in the water like that?
I don't know. No, this is Manute Bol. This is a photo from the 80s.
Okay.
This is what a picture of Manute Bol looks like swimming. He literally looks like he is a possessed demon.
He looks like that thing that you see in like any movie that's come to get you while you're in this pool swimming.
Correct. It is one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen. Also, Max might be comment of the night. House Cannon versus House Rivers. Referring to, of course, Phil Rivers and his 17 children.
Haven't seen that. Someone else has a bunch of kids. They have a show. This Slender Man.
He looks like Slender.
That is horrifying.
I don't like it.
What's the movie? Like this. It's a Christmas movie, but it has like a skeleton guy in it.
I don't know.
No, it's a Christmas movie. He has a skeleton in it.
He does not look like Jack Skellington. He does not look like The Nightmare Before Christmas.
You're not.
He doesn't. He doesn't like it. That's what his
He
body
does not.
looks like.
Oh, my boy.
No, absolutely not.
He has the type of body. Just take his head away.
All right, here we go. Shenan. Most unbreakable sports records. Looking at this list, what one record will never be broken? Wayne Gretzky's in his 9 MVPs, Gretzky's 2,857 career points, DiMaggio's 56-game hit streak, Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, Jerry Rice in his over 22,000 receiving yards, Tiger Woods in his 142 consecutive cuts, Nolan Ryan in his 7 career no-hitters, UConn winning 111 consecutive games, Boston winning 8 straight championships, Ricky Henderson and his 1,400 stolen bases, Cal Ripken playing 2,600 consecutive games of baseball, Cy Young winning 511 games, the Tampa Bay Bucks losing 26 straight games, or Fernando Tatis Sr. having 2 grand slams in 1 inning. What's never getting broken?
Boston Celtics 8 straight championships.
2 grand slams for one.
That's gonna be hard, dude. That's gonna be super hard to break. Because we've even seen the Chicago did it. What, 3 peats? We've seen 3 peats, but we've never seen
an
a
8
6
peat.
Yeah, and a 6 peat, like a 6 piece.
Yeah. Max is saying the 100-point game. Johnny's saying the 100-point game. Max is asking who's second in stolen bases. I don't know. I know that Ricky Henderson's numbers were astronomical. I'm going to go a different way here. Yeah, and again, I hear what – so I think the 100-point game is beatable, and you've seen a couple guys get close, mostly because the game is now 3-point dominant. Wilt Chamberlain did it with all 2s and 3s. But now at 3-pointers – what's that?
They stopped the clock because he got fouled a lot of it. He had a lot of free throws too. Right,
that's what I'm saying. I think that Curry gets hot one night and he goes for 100. You've seen Devin Booker almost get 100. You've seen Kobe almost get 100. I mean, I think that is very possible to beat. I actually think out of this list,
there's still 20 more points he needed.
I know. But didn't he not play the fourth quarter?
I think
I'm pretty sure he didn't play the fourth quarter of that game.
Pretty sure he needed to because pretty sure that was a close game.
The most unbreakable is very simple. It's Cal Ripken Jr.'s 2,632 consecutive games played. Why? Because of rest days.
Yeah, load
because of load management. No one will be broke. First off, I don't know I think very few of these could be broken, but I don't see Cal Ripken Jr. ever getting that record broken.
I'm with it.
Because people get hurt, people get sore, load management, double headers, things like that. Nobody's even close.
Fair enough. I can't argue with you on that one. All these are pretty tough though.
I'm saying. Ooh. 2-on-2. Luka and Dirk versus Embiid and Iverson. Who wins?
Embiid and Iverson. They're just too dominant. They're too dominant separately. They both play defense. And they're both are like very, very good scorers. I like Doncic and I like Nowinski, but I don't think Nowinski can stop Embiid, and I damn sure don't think Doncic can stop Iverson. He's too quick.
Yeah, Iverson's speed alone wins this matchup.
I mean,
and I'm not just being a homer here.
No,
I think that
Doncic is actually slow. Like his body, his feet are slow. Like he's got slow feet.
Yeah. Yeah, and Iverson, I mean, his speed is unbeatable.
And he can jump too for him to be little. So.
Okay. I have a problem with this list.
Oh, God. I don't know you're going to get it.
The top 100 players. You're telling me the best player in football is Tom Brady at 45 years old.
I mean, he's the GOAT. I mean, he's clearly
okay. I mean, I disagree. And I've talked to Hollis Thomas about this. He goes, anybody who cheats could never be the GOAT. But continue.
I mean, technically, did he cheat though?
He had deflated footballs.
I mean, but did he physically cheat? Like, or did somebody else cheat for him?
I don't know. Anyway, Tom Brady, 5 years old, is the greatest player, is the top player in the NFL right now.
No, he's not. He is the GOAT though. So I think you have to put him number one. Like I don't.
So he's just going to be the number one player until he retires?
They got Aaron Donald number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's number 2 either. So I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers.
I think the list this year was Johnny. Words out of my mouth here. Lane Johnson, the best right tackle in football, didn't even make the list.
Is this fair?
Top 100. He didn't make 100.
It's based on previous season and not all time.
That's even how I feel.
And on top of it, Tom Brady wasn't the best player last year. I'm pretty sure they didn't even win the championship.
So again, where's Mahomes? Mahomes is 8?
9. 8. Yeah, 8. I mean,
Josh Allen is 13.
I don't know. I think
Shaq Leonard of the Colts, the linebacker, is 18.
Like Debo should be higher just because of the things he can do. Derrick Henry should be up there. He's pretty big.
No, Derrick Henry's 12.
Yeah. Who was the MVP last year?
Rodgers.
I mean, Rodgers is gonna have a shit season this year, so it doesn't matter.
I'm just saying, like, this NFL got it wrong.
I mean, I also think they do this to keep us talking about them.
I know, and we do it. We fall for it every time. And I'm out of shenanigans.
Thank God. I'm rough.
What you got going on this week? Who you bringing on?
Oh, K-Cads. I got a special guest. I can't tell you about him yet. Prince has got Laura Jensen coming on again next week. So he's got porn star extraordinaire. If you guys know who Laura Jensen is, she'll be on our network next Tuesday on Real Talk with Prince, Real Prince Blue. He's gonna have a Laura Jensen. Like, that's crazy. We've talked to her like 3 or 4 times at this point. She's a huge Eagles fan, so we love interviewing her anytime we can, because she's not just a porn star. She's actually a mogul. She actually has like a bunch of businesses. So shout out. Porn stars are real people. Just remember that, people.
Cool. Wednesday, we have our big official Eagles preview show. Where we're going over our schedule predictions, our record predictions, our award predictions. So make sure you're tuning in Wednesday night. I think we're doing 9 o'clock, 9:15, whatever we do. Because we got some Eagles things to discuss. And then, all the usual. Make sure you are checking out all of our great sponsors. But I really want to, one more big push, remind you to get your tickets to, let me pull up the photo so people see it. To get your tickets to the Carson party. It's September 25th. I'm pretty sure we're at the last bit of time where you can reserve those tickets. We got a lot of buses. I think we're up to over 700 people.
Jeez.
You good, Bag Crinkle, with my microphone on?
No.
Great. We're up to 700 people invading FedEx Field. I'm killing me.
Question.
Yes.
Are you guys gonna podcast while you're on the bus?
I mean, I might.
I didn't hear that.
Can you guys call me on FaceTime, at least so I can experience some of it?
Was it something perfect?
Yeah, maybe we might record some stuff from the bus, especially when we're hanging out with Hollis Thomas. But I will say the bus leaves pretty early, but from the tailgate, absolutely.
I just want to say hello to my friends that do podcast things with me. Like, I want to say hey to Gail. I want to say hey to all my people.
Well, we're all going to meet up. So there's a bunch of different buses leaving from different areas. So our bus will meet up with all those buses for a big tailgate party.
Okay. So
but yes, when that happens, I will FaceTime with you and we will talk to the peoples.
I just want to see my people. Can I do this thing? I want to do it. This is the W, and this is James Winston. You remember when he did that?
I do. Why are you like this? It wasn't cool when he did it. It's not cool when you do it. I'm Chip.
I'm Drip.
Yeah, you are. Catch you on the flippity flip. Okay. Where's my video that I play for the people to... whatever, bye.